Good day, students. Today we're going to look at the solution now to practice exercise 1A, found on page 67. This is in chapter 5, book 2 of your math 1025 booklets. And it's asking us to solve or use an equation to solve this word problem and then state your final answer. So let's read our word problem and see what we're dealing with. The length of a rectangle is 1 centimeter more than twice the width. If the perimeter of a rectangle is 74 centimeters, find the dimensions, the length and width of the rectangle. Alright, so we need a rectangle. Let's draw one. So here's a rectangle. Now, we know, of course, that this side here, usually the longer side we call the length, and the other sides we call the width. So I'll do that. And we know the distance around this. Okay, so if we start here and add up the distance around, here, down to here, across here, up here, that's called a perimeter. So the perimeter is the distance around something. So that's the perimeter. Well, there's two lengths and two widths, often referred to as 2L plus 2W. Okay, so that's the perimeter of a rectangle. Now we know the perimeter is 74 centimeters. It says it right there. The perimeter of the rectangle is 74 centimeters. So that means this P is equal to 74. So we got 74 equals 2L plus 2W. Now we can't solve this equation because obviously we have two different variables, L and W. But if we could write it in one variable, then we would be able to solve it. So let's go back and reread the question and see if we can write the length in terms of the width or the width in terms of the length. So it says the length of a rectangle is 1 centimeter more than twice the width. Well, if I got the width called W in my diagram, right, then twice the width would be simply 2W, right? So, and if it's 1 centimeter more than that, what does that mean? 1 centimeter more means to add 1. Now you can put it in front if you want, but normally when we're adding to a variable we put it behind, or put it to the right. So we would say 2W plus 1. So we add 1. So the length, now that's what the length is. The length is twice the width plus 1. So this is the length. Okay? So therefore I could say, I could actually take this L out, or I'll just write equals next to it. Hey? So the length is 2W plus 1. It's 2W plus 1. So now I could say, rather than say L, what can I say? I can take out L and put in 2W plus 1 plus 2W equals 74. So now I have one equation, or one variable in that equation. Now I can solve. And solving it, we're first going to multiply by the 2. So I get 2 times 2W, which of course is 4W, and 2 times 1. That's called a distributive property. That's why I use brackets when substituting. Because L turned out to be a binomial, 2W plus 1, you must multiply by both to get right to the distributive property, and carry down this 2W, that doesn't change. I'll carry down this 74, that doesn't change. Okay. Now adding the two W's together, 2W and 4W gives me 6W, and then bring the 2 to the other side and subtract. I get 74 subtract 2. Okay, so I brought this 2, see what I did there? I subtracted 2 from both sides, right? And that will cancel the 2's and give you that over here. However, I don't show that step, and you can if you want. I just tend to just write it on the other side as minus 2. Then subtract 74, subtract 2, of course, is 72. That equals 6W. Now to isolate the W, we know what to do now. We divide by that coefficient in front, right? So this cancels, and you're left with just W equals, and 72 divided by 6, of course, is 12. And you can check that on your calculator if you're still uncertain about your multiplication tables. So there it is, 12. Now, that's the width. Alright, the width is 12. What's the length then? Well, we know the length is twice the width plus 1. So the length is 2 times the width, which is 12, plus 1. So the length, 2 12s are 24, plus 1, 25. Now, let's double check everything. We know that the perimeter is adding up all the sides. So if I got a length of 25, so I'll add my two lengths, and I have a width of 12, I'll add my two widths. So this should be my perimeter. And if we add that up, I get 25 and 25 is 50, 12 and 12 is 24, 24 and 50, that's 74, which is exactly what we should have for our perimeter. So if I add all four sides up, this is just a little check over here. I'll write the word check above that. So we're done. Now, state your final answer. See those words? That means you should state it and make a statement. In other words, a word problem should have a word answer. So you would write something like this as your final answer. The length is, in this case, what was our length? Our length was 25, so is 25 centimeters. And the width is, what's the width? The width is 12 centimeters. So write a statement means to make a final conclusion in words like that. So there's the final answer right here. Let me just put a little circle around that. So there's the final answer in words right here. Okay, so that's a complete solution for 1A on page 67. That's it for now.